Hi, all. Welcome to Online Calc 2 at Pellissippi State this summer. I'm the professor, Jonathan Lamb. I am actually the lead professor for the calculus sequence here at Pellissippi. This is the first time I've taught an online class, but it's certainly not the first time I've ever taught a integral calculus class. It's one of my favorite classes to teach. Let me go ahead and show you how this class is going to work this summer. I'll share my computer screen here with you. And probably if you're watching this video, you're already on our main home D2L page. The first announcement here is where I'm just welcoming you to the class, letting you know that this can be a very challenging class. Calc 2, as I said in my opening message, a lot of people feel that it's the most rigorous of the calculus sequence. Unlike Calc 1, where everything you did, every derivative, it always had a nice answer. You could always find an answer. There's going to be tons of problems in Calc 2 that you simply cannot integrate with the techniques that we can learn in the class. That just didn't happen in Calc 1. So Calc 2 is going to take a lot more creative thought and thinking outside of the basic rules than a Calc 1 class does. But I think you'll find that it's a lot of fun. With that, since we are going to be working the derivatives backwards, it should be noted that you cannot forget any of your Calc 1 content. Now, on the online site that we'll be using that I'll go to here in a moment, the Achieve, you'll see that I have the first four chapters of our book listed there. They're not an assignment for integral calculus, but you could always go back and refer to those sections, the information, your derivative rules. You could even work problems in those sections if you wanted to. It just wouldn't help towards your Calc 2 grade. But if you need that prior information, you need to go back and do it. Now, as for this class, as I say here, I'm going to post as much information as I can to help you out. I will do lectures for every single section that we cover. So you're not expected to teach yourself this information. I will put as much or maybe even more information online for you than I would for my traditional class if I were just teaching this class normally this summer. Every single class lecture that I would go over in class, that's in my lecture videos that you'll see online. But in addition to that, I'm a strong believer that I should never assign something to my students that I'm not first willing to work myself. There's not many math classes that you're going to have a teacher that feels that way. So you'll notice for every single one of your Achieve assignments, I've already worked the assignment myself. And I will always stay ahead of where you're supposed to be throughout the class. Right now I have sections 5.1 through 5.6 posted. And I will, like I said, I'll show you the recommended pacing of what you're supposed to be doing each week. And I will make sure that I stay far ahead of that in case some students are also a little bit ahead. Now, I will also post the book solutions manual. So if you'd like to refer to the book and its problems throughout the sections as a resource, I've posted the author's solutions manual. I also have my solutions to the homework assignment that I would have assigned out of the book if this were a traditionally taught class that met in a classroom. So those are not assignments for us. In fact, the only grades our class will have are those grades out of the Achieve platform. But I'm trying to provide you with much content as possible, just so you don't feel like you're on your own in this class. Now, as far as how to register for that Achieve class, you'll notice I have the good news here, the free course materials. Not a single person should pay a dime for the content of the book or the online learning site for this class. I've arranged with the publisher Macmillan to get it all for you for free this summer. If you haven't already registered, all you have to do is click the Macmillan link that I have here, follow the instructions that I have posted, and I've already had a few students do it and assure me that It's a very easy process. They didn't have any trouble at all. But just to show you, I'll go ahead and click that here. And when I do, it takes me to this site eventually. My computer's really thinking about it. Now, you will be taken to a site to where you have to register for the class. Obviously, since I already have an account, it's going to take me straight to the class. So for you, you'll have to first register and then you'll get into the class. Every time after that, you just click that link and it'll take you right to the class like I am on now. Now, I'm not crazy about the landing screen that it took me to it, because it looks like you don't have anything assigned. That's not true. So you have a couple of options. You can either go over, I think the best option is to go over to the course plan. And on that course plan, the very first thing I would do, just to make sure you understand how to input answers in Achieve, I would do that first day training assignment. It's going to show you how Achieve expects you to input answers to make sure there's no issues as far as understanding the software. Now, I mentioned the first 4 chapters, nothing is assigned, but the entire book for those sections, if you wanted to refer back to any of those, they're there. You can also see the homework assignments that I would have assigned for each of those sections. But you'll see beside each of those homework assignments, it's blank and then it says unassigned. That just means it will not impact your grade whatsoever to not do those. And you should only do those if you just want to. Now, the ones that will start affecting your grades start in chapter 5. That's where the integration content starts. If I expand chapter 5, the very first section that we talk about is the approximating and computing area. You could read through the textbook section for that. You could hit the 5.1 summary to see the summary of the 5.1 assignment. And then, of course, you can work the homework assignment. And of course, not only can you, you should. That's how I'll be getting grades for it throughout the classes, each of the homework assignments. You'll see that I don't require you to read the textbook or the summary. It's unassigned. It's strongly recommended. You probably should read through it. But the only thing I'll be grading is each of the homeworks. That's how I'll be assessing your progress throughout the semester. So you would just scroll down through here and work every single one of the homework assignments through chapter 5. Hopefully after reading the books for each of those sections. Then you'll see I have assignments for chapter 6, 7, 8, and 10. Now, if you just wanted to only look at what's going to be graded, you could go back over to the assignments tab, and instead of going through the view of only seeing things due in the next 7 days, go to view all assignments. And this will show you every assignment that I have for the rest of the course through there. So you can see it goes through chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7, a couple of sections in chapter 8, and then we finish with chapter 10. So this is all of the assignments that we'll be doing. I have already worked sections 5.1 through 5.6 homework myself, and those solutions are already posted online for you. Video solutions, me explaining how the problems work. So all of that will be there before you're expected to work it. Now, notice the grade book up here, and no one's done anything yet, of course. I've already had 3 students register for the class without any issue. I just wanted to make sure the registration process went smoothly. But you can see that the way that your grade will be determined is for each of the sections, the 5.1 homework, 5.2 homework, 5.3 homework, 5.4 homework, over and over and over and over, chapter 6 homework, chapter 7 homework, all the way chapter 8 homework, and then finishing up in chapter 10. Each section's worth 100 points, so you get a grade for each section. The average of those grades will determine your course total for the entire class. Unfortunately, with the COVID-19 precautions, there is no way that I can do any testing center tests or anything like that. We don't have use of our physical testing center at Pellissippi this summer. And the online proctoring agency, it's called HonorLock, the one that Pellissippi uses, will only enable us to use tests that are multiple choice. So because of that, I've just decided I'm not going to do tests this summer, and your entire grade will be just your online homework average throughout the Achieve system. Now, keep in mind, like I said earlier, every single problem on there should be 100% possible to do. Because in order to see how to do it, all you would have to do, if you run into a stumbling block, all you'd have to do is log on to where I work the problems and see my explanation for it. So let me show you what I mean by that. So back on the Pellissippi Brightspace class, after I go through the announcements and register and all of that stuff, all of the content that I'll be posting to help you out this semester is, not surprisingly, under content. Now, under that content tab, let me go to the well, it's already on the very first thing, the table of contents, the beginning of semester papers. So in that beginning of semester papers, you'll see I have a policy sheet and a pacing guide. The policy sheet, I do hope that you'll read through it here. I'll just talk about some highlights of it real quickly. And on that policy sheet, I have what our book is. It's the Rogowski 4th edition Calculus with Early Transcendentals. It's a very good calculus textbook. Of course, we have the free access to the online ebook and the accompanying online homework platform, which is how you'll get your grade for the class, called Achieve. You do need to use a graphing calculator throughout the use of this course. I'll always use an 84 or an 83 in the videos that I show, so it's probably preferable that you have one of those to follow along with. The other resources, and I've already mentioned, I'll be posting the Author's Solutions Manual on the Brightspace page. I'll have section lectures and PDF notes from each of those lectures posted. My Achieve solutions, so I will never ask you to work something I haven't first done myself and explained how to do myself in every problem. If you want to use some other resources, I really don't feel it's necessary, but if you wanted to, myself, I wanted to be able to create a class in which I do all of the work that I feel that you need to be able to learn the content. I didn't want to have to depend upon outside resources to teach you the material. But one excellent outside resource is Khan Academy. There are tons of calculus classes this summer that's probably just linking their students to Khan Academy to teach them the material. Myself, I find that kind of cheap. If a person's going to get paid to teach a class, they should work to teach the class rather than just refer you to links of somebody else teaching the class. So I wanted to provide everything myself, but if you wanted to see some other materials that's done, that's excellent. And the reason it's so good is because that's founded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They pour millions and millions and millions of money into that each year to make sure it's extremely excellent content and very well produced content too. Now, another resource as far as college level math professors, there's a guy named Paul that teaches at Lamar University. I think he is a brilliant math professor, just as I said here on this page. He has notes for Calc 1 and Calc 2, and well, just about any other math class too, posted off of his webpage, and it's extremely well done. As far as our classroom policies and procedures, you can see for the attendance here, I'm planning to do this web class as a truly independent asynchronous web class. Well, what does asynchronous mean? Well, asynchronous in this case just means I'll be posting content, whether it's lecture videos or help videos. I'll be posting all those to YouTube and then posting the links in here in Brightspace that should help you out with the content of the course. So there is no set time to where I ever expect you to meet me online and force you to do the class with me. We do have some courses at Pellissippi this summer that will require the students to meet the teacher at a certain time. I think that's silly myself. I would rather just post the content there for you and allow you to work it whenever you want to. It allows you more flexibility in your schedule and to work the class on your own pace. Now, I'll have all of that always up before you should be getting to it on the recommended pacing. Now, again, I said this is the first time I've ever taught a web class, so I don't have the class all done out of the bag. I wish it kind of did. It'd make teaching this class easier. But I'll be doing the sections before you're expected to do them. But if you're trying to look to see, well, wait a minute, he doesn't have anything from chapter 6 posted. No, I don't right now. Because I'll be doing that as I teach the class this summer. This is not a class that I had ready before the semester began. If I had my preferences, I would not teach web classes. I would teach all classes in person. I love the person-to-person interaction of a normal class, but we'll make the best of this class that we can. Now, up next, you'll see I said, please contact me with questions or comments. Despite this being a web class where I'm teaching it asynchronously, where we don't have to keep contact with one another, I think you'll find that I will be very quick to answer any questions, whether you want to send me an email or send me a text. I've provided my cell phone number up here. You can send me a text or you can leave me a message, a voice message if you prefer, whatever works best for you. But I will be very quick to reply and hopefully help out with that. Now, for cases in which people need to kind of maybe video chat with me and stuff so that we can work in an easier environment so that I can see what you're doing right and wrong and help you out better. Sometimes email and text just is not sufficient to help you out with a problem. So I do have a Zoom Pro account. It's the zoom.us/my/math-is-cool. So if you want to meet with me on Zoom, we could have you click that link at a certain time when we agree to meet. You'd have to let me know in advance, and I'd have to agree to it to meet with you at a certain time. And I'll be glad to do individual sessions with that. Now, with those individual sessions, because I will be grading you on your online assigned work, I'm not going to work your problems for you. I can look at what you do and tell you what's right and what's wrong and stuff like that and lead you in the right direction, but I'll always expect you to be able to work your problems. And I've already worked problems that are extremely similar to each of your assigned problems, and I'll also be glad to let you know where you go astray in a problem and help point you in the right direction. As far as testing and quizzing, I think I said it earlier, but unfortunately, we just can't. Our testing centers are closed this summer, and I don't want to give multiple choice math tests. Multiple choice math tests stink. So I'm not going to use the online proctoring service. Your grade for the class will just be your achieve average. And that's what you see here. I just wanted to make sure I made it extremely clear. So I even repeated myself here, the semester grade. As mentioned above, the grade you earn in the Achieve gradebook will result in your final grade for the class using the grading scale. And this is the Pellissippi Math Department grading scale, and many other departments use the same one. So if you want to get an A in the class, you would have to have a 92.5, which would round to a 93 average on the Achieve system, and you'd be guaranteeing yourself an A. Any grade between 87.5 and up to 92.5 would be a B plus, and then B would be 82.5 up to 87.5, and C 77.5 and above, and a C you'd have to at least have a 69.5 to round up to that 70 for a C. And then hopefully we don't have to worry about the D's and the F's, so that would not be an ideal situation. Now I'll go back to the beginning of semester papers. You'll see the next thing, and the only other beginning of semester papers I have is the pacing guide. Now, with this pacing guide, let me mention, I try to allow my students a lot of flexibility, whether that's in this, a web class, or a traditional class that meets in class. I don't like to do a lot of assignments that are due each week that forces the students to work when I want them to work. I would rather you work when you can. If you want to get a lot of material done at the beginning and then kind of go slowly throughout the end of the course, that's fine. If you want to go slowly in the beginning and really load up towards the end, that's fine too. Please notice the due dates on every single one of the assignments. You can see it in the grade book here. The due dates for every single one is going to be 11:59 p.m. on July 21st. Now, obviously, does that mean that you should wait to start working the assignments till a couple of days before? No, if you do, you'll never finish the class anyway. But if you want to work at your own pace, you could just set everything off until, say, I just want to start working the class on maybe June 15th. That'd be fine with me. As long as you're able to finish by July 21st, I have no issue with it. Now, the pacing guide that I would recommend if you want to keep track with what the class should be doing, the first week, this week, the week of May 25th, you should be working sections 5.1 through 5.3. That's what I would cover if I was teaching in a normal classroom Tuesday through Thursday in that first week. Next week, the week of June 1st, you should be working sections 5.4 through 5.7. You'll notice I already have sections 5.1 through 5.6. I have lecture videos and homework assignments all completely posted for all of those. So I promise I will always at least stay a week ahead of you. So I'm saying that before 6.1 comes, I will have 5.1 through 5.7 posted. Before 6.8 comes, I'll have posted all the way through 6.2. Before 6.15, I'll have posted through 7.1. Before 6.22, I'll have posted through 7.5. So I'll be doing the class as you're doing the class this summer. I'll try to stay at least a week in advance, if not, much more than that. Right now, I have about 2 weeks of content already up. Now, if I go back to the beginning of semester papers, I think that's all for that section. It is. The next section is my lecture videos. You'll see I have it broken down by chapter. The chapter 5 videos, chapter 6 videos, chapter 7, and chapter 10. I already have a few videos produced for chapter 7 and chapter 10. I'll probably be tweaking those and refining those before we get to them. I don't have anything posted for chapter 6. Again, this is the first time I've taught an online version of this class, but you'll notice I have all of the videos for the first few sections posted. And whenever you go into them, you can watch them here within D2L. Well, I should say Brightspace. You can click on the link and it should take you right to the video of me teaching the content, and you can hit the play button on there. Now, if you prefer, you could also just go straight to YouTube, watch on YouTube and watch it there. Doesn't look like my internet connection is the greatest up here.
Then he reversed the order of that sign.
Oh, it picked up in the middle of the video is why it was a delay. But you could watch any part of the video, and well, hopefully the whole video, as you go through there. And this is me trying to explain the content to the best of my capability, and it's the exact same thing I would do if I were teaching the class in a traditional classroom. These are the document camera notes I would do. You can see that for most of the videos, I have at least an HD resolution for all of them, so they should appear nice and crisp for you. I think several of them I try to do a 1440p resolution. Now, for the rest of the notes, for the lecture notes, hopefully you'll watch those for each and every section. And then that would be prior to you trying to do the content. Now, let's say you watched the section 5.1 video, went to Achieve, and then said, well, I don't know how to work a specific problem in Achieve in that section 5.1. Notice I have the Achieve help videos also broken down by chapter for the chapter 5 here. To make the help videos not too long, I tried to break them up into bits. So you'll see 5.1, I did problems 1 through 10. Then I did problems 11 through 20, 5.1, 21 through 29. So if you wanted to see like number 25 in section 5.1, if you were on Achieve and you were just not getting that question correct and you wanted to see what I did for that problem, you would pull up this video and go right to it. The screenshot started at 25, but the video will start at 21 here. But you could scroll to about halfway through the video, and I bet that will take you to about 25 here. Yeah, it does. Perfect. I probably had to go back a little bit to get to the beginning of 25. And by the way, that's a gorgeous problem there. That's finding an infinite summation. So you might need to work with my videos a little bit on some of those. But hopefully that'll help you out. And you see how it pulls up the same Achieve assignment, just like you will have. And you can see precisely the question I'm working, how many questions I've gotten right up to that point, and then the information about how I'm working on the problem that should be similar to your 25. So hopefully this will be of good benefit to you if you should run into any problems on the Achieve. I didn't want you to feel like I'm asking you to do anything that I wasn't first willing to do myself. So that's why I'm willing to put forth the work to do all of that for you. Up next here, let's see, notes from lecture videos. So if you watch a lecture, and most of the lectures are around, I'd say probably about 50 minutes to an hour for most of the section lectures. So as you go through those, you're like, geez, okay, he talked about a lot. Am I supposed to have to refer back to the lecture every time I'm just trying to look at a problem or think about how he did a problem? No. I will post the notes that I'll discuss in each of the lectures through here for you. So that should all be there for you. As you go through, you can see I have 6 pages of notes for my first lecture video, and I'm just discussing how to work those problems and the content surrounding those problems in my lecture video. Now, for the other types of notes and help that you can have in here. Oh, you can also see if you just wanted to, instead of trying to follow through a video, if you wanted to see just the printed out scan of the work I did to solve the problems on Achieve, you could do that as well. So in addition to the videos, I'm posting the scan of this is what I did in order to work the first assignment on Achieve. So that gives you something to look at if you wanted to just follow that as opposed to going through the video. I think for most of you, the video will help explain the problems. It's often a little hard to try to get the understanding out of seeing how a problem works just by looking at it. It's a lot easier if you can see or if you can hear an explanation as the problem's been written out. So that's there for you. Now, another thing, and this is, we have some faculty that just teach with these. I always found it lazy to teach with PowerPoint notes, but if you wanted a little bit more formal introduction to a section, these would be the PowerPoint notes for the section, and you can see it's loaded up the chapter 5, the very first section here, 5.1, approximating and computing area. You could go through and just keep hitting enter, and it would go and it would explain the concepts of this section of how we're using left and right hand rectangles to approximate the area under a curve. Gorgeous stuff. But that just gives you a little bit more formal notes, but that's just by the publisher. And I always feel that it's lazy to use PowerPoint notes by the publisher. And also, as soon as you start opening up a PowerPoint slide in class, oftentimes students start to automatically doze off and stuff. So I like to try to avoid those because I want you to see that I'm not scared to do the work it takes to teach the class. I'll share the publisher's content and stuff with you, but I don't want to have to depend upon it. Now, speaking of the publisher's content, your book, in addition to being a resource on here, you can go to your ebook on Achieve, and it's also within each of the sections on Achieve. Before the homework, if you're in the content area, before the homework, there's the book and the summary of the book. You could also just go to the entire book here if you just wanted to read chapter 5 all at once and see the book homework assigned problems within each of those sections. You just load this up, and again, my internet connection's not the fastest, so it's taken it a while, but you can see that it's going to load up through here. Yeah, it's already loaded a few pages there. And if I was in section 5.1, I'll scroll down till I can see where the problems are. Let's see, 5.1, yeah. So you can also see the summary for 5.1 here, and then the book homework assignment for that section. Now, that book homework assignment for the section, similar to the assignment that you'll see on Achieve. And with that book homework assignment, if you wanted to see the problems that I would have assigned my class that would have met traditionally, you can look at my solutions to the homework. So for every section we're going to cover, I will work problems out of the book homework assignment. This is nothing for you to have to worry about. It's just an additional resource should you want it. So you could look at my book homework assignment here in section 5.1. I'm working problems 1 through 9 odd, 13 through 59 odd, and 67. And then if I went down to that, you can see where it's loading each of the pages, and you can see my work for that section out just like that. And you'll see that for every single homework assignment throughout the book. If this were a traditional class, that would be the homework assignment I would assign. Since we are meeting online, of course, we have the online homework assignment. If you wanted to see the author's solutions manual for each of the chapters, you would just go to that link. My solutions will usually show more steps, but the negative is I don't work every problem out of the book. The author solutions manual does contain every problem. And then the last thing there is if you wanted to see what I feel are the 5 most important problems out of a section, you could log on to this. It'll first show you a PDF preview of what I feel the 5 most important problems are. And then if you'll just arrow over, it'll do a video presentation of me doing that. Now, this is not nearly as important as the 5.1 lecture or the Achieve help. It's just, again, it's an additional resource should you need it. So now, summarizing what you need to do for this class, please keep in mind you're going to be graded on the basis of your Achieve work. You'll be able to see what your grade is in the class at any time by going to the gradebook and Achieve, and it will show you that course total, which is just going to be the average of all of the sections that you have done. Now, don't worry if that course total is rather low to begin with. I think the way that the grade is set up is it's automatically going to count any sections you haven't done as a 0. So after you've done the first section, you'll probably have, obviously a single-digit course total average there, but that will improve as you work more sections throughout the semester. Now, if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. I'll be glad to help you out in any way I can. But I think that this should cover all of the questions that you should have. I've shared the content that we would have. Please don't use the grades tab within here. That's why I say please look at your Achieve grade book instead. All of your grades will be on Achieve. We are not going to have any quizzes within here. All of the grades, again, are within Achieve. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I hope you have a great semester working these fun integration problems. There's going to be some of these sections that really do take quite a bit of time and have some wonderful problems. I look forward to looking at them with you. Let me know if you have any questions, guys. Contact me through the phone number provided or the email, and I will reply back very quickly. Have a great summer, and I hope this class works out well for you.